Okay, welcome everybody. This is a pleasure for me to have a very good friend of mine on today's show. He's a former Major League Baseball player. I've known Chris for quite some time, and we actually played together in Europe, of all places. A Samoan and then a dude from Florida getting together to play in Europe together. So I've followed him throughout his career, and this is really, really exciting, and it's an honor for me to have him. This is Chris Barnwell. Former Major League Baseball third baseman, shortstop, second baseman with the Milwaukee Brewers. He's played for years, but this guy's incredible, man. He single-handedly helped me increase my fielding skills, which was good. But he kind of took me to a whole nother level when we were actually tag team, and I was second base and he was shortstop. So it's a pleasure to have this guy here, man. Thanks so much, dude.
Rob, thanks for having me. The pleasure's mine. Equally so. That was a great experience.
Yeah.
Back in 2000 over there. Only time I ever traveled to Europe. And man, what an experience to actually go over there, represent our country, and actually win. Bring home a medal. A lot of fun. But it's my pleasure. As you've been following me, I've been following your career here online, and I can't tell you how proud I am to see how well you've been doing.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it, dude. So for the people that are just new to I guess baseball, and for the baseball fanatics, give them a little rundown of who you are, maybe where you played college, because they're gonna go back and research this, and then follow you and look at your baseball cards, and all
That's
that
right.
stuff. Yeah. So give a little bio on who Chris Barnwell is.
Yeah, so I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. Where baseball is king. Baseball over there in Florida is what everyone wants to do. So went to college at a small school called Flagler College, an up and coming college. So definitely go check it out, flagler.edu. They just built a brand new complex. They got a nice virtual tour. You can go online and check it out.
Mm.
Beautiful campus, a lot of history, the nation's oldest city. So great place. If you're vacationing in Florida, check it out too. But and that's where we came to meet each other. We both were standouts in a small baseball community called NAIA. And obviously, not a lot of people know what NAIA stands
Right.
for. But what NAIA is the I guess the little brother to NCAA.
Yeah.
So me and you both played for the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, and like I said, we actually came together and got to play. And right about that time for me is when I really started to develop as a baseball player. To be honest, all the years of kind of training and working out and working on those fundamentals that me and you shared, the fielding techniques and stuff. That's when I really started to flourish, was right there in college. And I was very fortunate to have an opportunity to be drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers. Just like you and a lot of those guys, it's hard in the small school
Right.
to actually get the recognition. So I was fortunate to play in a really nice conference and play in Florida, where it's very heavily scouted. So I went in the 25th round, right dead in the middle.
Mm.
There's 50 picks, so I was the 25th pick. As a senior in college, you don't have much leverage, so signing bonus was basically a plane ticket and an opportunity, which I was more than grateful to accept.
Yeah, it's exciting to get drafted, man. How did that feel? Did you was there any anticipation that you're gonna get drafted, or?
Absolutely, and as right around that time, you always get the people who want to talk to you and pump
Right.
you up. And my experience was not so different than most other people. I'd go to a game, there'd be scouts in the stands. You knew they were there watching some people. You might be one of the people they're watching, but you want to put your best foot forward so that if they're watching someone else, you can catch their attention.
Right.
But I had a good opportunity to play for a guy named Link Jarrett. And Link Jarrett was a shortstop at Florida State before he came to Flagler to coach. And he's currently over at the University of Auburn as the baseball coach. And he had a good idea of what my projection would be. So he had a feeling that I'd have opportunity. I don't know how they do it now. I think now they televise it. But I remember sitting at the house. It was me, my mom, my dad, and my future wife. I remember sitting through the first day of drafts. I think they got through 21 rounds in the first day. So made it through day one, no draft. Anticipation's building. Some
Yeah.
people say, hey, you might be a fourth rounder. Some people say, you may sign free agent after the draft. I remember I was laying on the couch, my mom, my dad, and my girlfriend, but now wife at the time, and just listening to the radio on the internet in the background. And I hear my name announced, and just kind of
Wow.
sitting up and looking at my dad, and it was just like, no way.
Wow.
Like,
I'm
much
getting
as we thought,
goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps, man.
yeah, it was amazing. It was a very surreal moment. Sorry about that. But it was a great moment. It was a lot of fun, and the stuff that unfolded after is what that was really neat. I had the scout that drafted me came into our house like 2 days afterwards. So he just called and said, "Hey, congratulations! I'm really busy. I have like 9 guys in the draft." He
Right.
had who did he have that year? I don't know. Prince Fielder was the year after, but he ended up having like 8 or 9 guys. But he was a real big shot. Moved on to be a scouting director with the Seattle Mariners.
Wow.
But he came in the house and said, "Chris," and this is a great story for anyone out there listening that aspires to do anything. You just never know who's watching. He said, "Chris, I came to your game. I didn't have time to stay, and I just wanted to see if you were what people have been telling me that you were." And he said, "I walked up to the ballpark. You were filthy dirty. You were covered in dirt. I didn't get to see an at-bat. I saw you field ground balls in between innings. You didn't get any balls during the game while I was there. But I wrote down, this guy can play," and I left.
Wow.
So the guy who took me never actually saw me do anything other than field ground balls in between innings, if you can believe that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
there are other scouts too looking, and they saw you play full games and everything.
Right. Well, right, and that may be it may be a good thing he didn't see me play a whole game. Who knows, right?
No.
But
Wow, that's
but yeah, I guess the story there is someone's always watching. You hear that, you always want to put your best foot forward. And I think for me, I must have just been doing something right, something that caught his eye. So
yeah, you can tell.
Fortunate.
Yeah, good scouts can just tell. Yeah, instincts. You know how the ball pops out when you throw, because you have a really, really good arm. So yeah, those intangibles you can just tell. So good, man.
Yeah.
That's quite the story.
yeah. It was a lot of fun. That process was great. And the funny thing is my dad actually became like really, really good friends with the scout, and they stayed in touch because he would cover the whole Florida region and South Georgia, and they would go and catch ball games together. So it's nice. It's kind of funny. These people that you just don't think that they're going to stay in your life, they really do. Baseball is a really tight-knit community.
Yeah, absolutely. And we met in 2000. And it's 2011 now. It's crazy.
I know. And if anyone wants to get, those pictures are up online from that NAI USA.
Right.
So people can actually photo of me and you turning a double play. I think it was like against Germany or someone.
Yeah, we had the same glove. It was funny, man. It was really cool. Yeah,
I still have that A2000 Wilson A2000.
Yep, I still got mine too. Yeah, absolutely. We should play catch here soon.
That's right.
On the softball field.
Right. That's right. That's the game now.
Yeah. So how was it like your first year?
Yeah. So the first year, it was a challenge to start off, and you can attest to this. The jump from aluminum bats to wood bats is tremendous. Now, I know following the College World Series now that they've actually done some things with the bats to make it, make them more comparable. So the guys aren't hitting home runs, 2-3 times a game. Now the guys are having to, control the bat, and pitching is king. But those first couple months in short season A-ball were pretty tough. And for me, I was pretty fortunate. My best friend growing up, his family moved to Ogden, Utah, which is where I went to go play. So it was nice to actually go, stay with a family that I know. This guy was my Little League coach all the way up.
Wow.
And he would come to the games and support me. They came to every game. And as it turns out, about halfway through the short season, he kind of pulls me aside and says, "Hey, man, I know you're struggling. I know it's tough. I know competition's great, but you're blowing it, basically. You got to figure it out. You got to either put in some more work. You got to find that confidence. You got to find that thing that made you special, even in college." And I think for me that was a big thing, because I know that one of the questions you said that you got on your Facebook post was what really separates good player from a great player.
Yeah, that's from Scott Blair. Scott, if you're watching,
Right.
what minute are we? Shoot. Oh, 13 minute 13-minute mark. Scott, this is you. What separates the average ball player from the great ball player?
Right. So for me, it was just getting that confidence back, and I think that's really what separates guys. I think there's all sorts of levels of talent, and I think you can play to your ceiling, but you'll never get to your ceiling without that confidence factor. And that conversation with my former Little League coach, now my host family, really helped me get back to thinking the way I thought back in college. And for me, it was visualizing myself being successful. Just like we do now in business. You want to visualize before you go into a meeting how it's going to turn out. Prepare yourself. Before that conversation, my mindset was, I'm from a little NAIA school where I was throwing 82, 83 miles an hour. Now I'm facing guys throwing 95, 96, and I'm outmatched. When in reality, I wasn't. But in my head, I kind of set that barrier that, hey, here's where I'm at, and now here's where these guys are, and it's just going to be that way. So as it turned out, my first season, I ended up hitting 306, and I hit probably below the Mendoza line for most of the season. And for those of you who don't know, the Mendoza line is considered 200. Which, on a side note, and I don't think I've ever shared this with you, Mario Mendoza, actually had an opportunity to play for him briefly over in Navajo, Mexico during winter ball.
And
Very good guy. Yeah.
In Mexico, you've played with other guys too. What's the guy? Chris Coste?
That's right. Chris Coast.
Yeah.
What a great story. If you haven't had a chance to go and read his book, or at least just go on Wikipedia and check out his story,
Right.
This guy worked hard, his whole career. I actually had an opportunity to play with him with the Brewers. My first season, my first training, he was in AAA with the Brewers, and he just kind of sat in AAA for almost 10 years, maybe more, before he began with the Phillies at the age of 33 years old, and made an impact. He was an impact player for that World Series team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there are quite a few guys that you played with, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned Prince Fielder.
Yeah.
Is JJ Hardy too was there?
JJ Hardy, yeah, and he's red hot right now for the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, he's great player. I was thinking a lot about guys like JJ Hardy and Prince Fielder, and some other guys, Brad Nelson, people who were taking him the same years as I was. With all this stuff going on in baseball, you kind of look at, and for those who don't follow it, sorry if I'm boring you with baseball, but if you look at the numbers now, all the numbers, just like the league average is somewhere around like 240. Yeah. Hitting has really declined, home runs have declined, pitching is back up. And I think we're starting to see baseball from like the 1980s kind of resurfacing, more of a pitching, defense, and speed game. And I started thinking about the guys that I played with and really how these guys are going to really emerge when they hit their prime as some of the best players in the game because, and I know baseball has a black eye, but a lot of the drugs and the performance enhancing stuff, I think it's finally caught up. Baseball has now settled down to what it really truly is. So guys like Prince Fielder, who are just naturally unbelievable power hitters, but kind of got lost in the shuffle because there were so many people that were hitting for power, but not naturally. Guys like Prince, Brad Nelson, a minor league guy who I think is going to emerge here in the next couple of years. But JJ Hardy, a guy with that kind of defensive, his defensive presence is unbelievable. What a great arm, good defense, and great power, can hit for average. I think the next couple of years you're going to see guys that came up with the Brewer system really emerge as some of the best in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I know this. We've probably going to beat the horse too much, but the steroid topic. Yeah. A lot of people ask that question. How true is it? Is it rampant in the minor leagues as people just try to make it? And what's your experience with that?
You know what? I get asked that question a lot. It's hard to be honest, and if I'm going to speak, I want to speak with some facts. So for me, it's hard to say who was taking it. If they were caught, then I think that to me that's the facts. Yeah. I think that it was probably as prevalent as people believe it was. I think for players like myself, it's unfortunate. I think that quite possibly my career might have been able to go a different direction had everyone been playing on a level playing field, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think the good thing is that it's cleared up. I think baseball now has an opportunity and needs to take advantage of the opportunity to really try and capitalize on where the game's going. It's going to be a good, clean sport. They need to really promote that, move on from the past, and promote that this is the way the game was meant to be played. But I also think on another side, business side, they need to think about bringing in some of these fences. You know, I live here in San Diego. I live in San Diego, and it's like you're in the stands. A guy hits a ball, crushes it, and it lands 20 feet in front of the wall. You're thinking, this is ridiculous, you know? So I think keep that in mind. I don't know why they decided to move all these fences back like they did at City Park and now here in San Diego. It's a little ridiculous. So they need to maybe bring the fences in a little bit, lower the pitching mound to the legal height, and let guys have a chance to hit.
Yeah, probably when they were going through the design phase, it was during that upswing of that extra power everybody was just displaying. So they're like, okay, baseball is just going to get better. Little did they know.
That's right. That no one's ever going to hit 60 home runs again. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here's a question from Jose Gonzalez. Jose says, what is the one thing that nobody gets to see behind the scenes that you would do daily that you miss the most? Something most fans don't know about or get to see?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that that went on in the clubhouse that I miss a lot. I think really there's the thing I miss the most, but that the fans got to see and share. And I'll get to answering the question, but the one thing we all got to do together that I think back to, and I really honestly miss it, was the national anthem. When you went out to the field, especially the home games. You hit the field, the crowd's into the game, and then just the anticipation. Kind of looking around, seeing your teammates, seeing the fans. Everyone's kind of amped up.
Yeah.
And in those moments right before the game when you're fielding ground balls and throwing it across the diamond.
Yeah.
Just kind of you have just that adrenaline that eventually kind of fades out during the game.
Right.
But you can't. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that you can't get anywhere else. And you're just really competing. But you can get it obviously in business. I still get it now when I'm getting ready to go meet with someone. But we don't play the national anthem before I come to a meeting. One of the things that I really do miss is when I would always get to the clubhouse about an hour before I needed to start doing anything. So if I was gonna be in the cage at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I would always get there about noon, just to have time to sit around the table with the guys. Baseball is one of the sports that I don't think gets enough credit for having a lot of intellectual guys. There's a lot of guys around, knocking out the USA Today, the New York Times, the LA Times crossword puzzles in there, and just sitting around and just kind of having just that conversation, the round table, talking about last night's game, talking about the guy who's pitching today, looking at the stat sheets. That's one of those times that you just, and you know how it is, the clubhouse is just like a great place.
Yeah.
But that hour where it was like you're separate from the world, the cell phone is off, you're in the clubhouse, but it's not work time yet. It's just kind of that time to spend with your teammates. That's what I miss the most. And that's the one thing the fans don't get to see, of those relationships you have with each other as teammates that go way beyond the game.
Yeah, there's a certain camaraderie.
A
certain, fraternity type connection that you have with, especially playing so many games, seeing each other so many times a year. It's a good feeling. Yeah, absolutely good feeling.
I mean, our relationship is just should be proof to that. I mean, we only had an opportunity to play together for a couple weeks.
Right.
But here we are. We're still connected after all these years. There really is, especially up the middle. The guys up the middle are always stay in touch.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And you played at the World Baseball Classic. I saw you on TV there as well with Team Canada.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it was that was a double-edged sword looking back on the memory of that place or of those events. What an absolute honor to play for them, especially being that my lineage was just enough to get me in there. My dad in Nova Scotia, Canada. So I wasn't a true Canadian, but for them to give me the opportunity to play with them, I'm forever grateful, because that's a stage, even being in the big leagues with the Brewers, that was a stage that I've never been on. And frankly, it's a stage that I don't know that I was prepared for. You know, it was 55,000+ people at the Rogers Center, Team USA versus Team Canada,
Yeah.
facing Jake Peavy, my childhood idol, Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Starting at shortstop on the other side of me. I mean, I think the stage was maybe a tick bigger than I had expected when I signed up. But I mean, what an awesome opportunity to be there and to represent my father's country.
Yeah. Yeah. What did it feel like? Did you get a chance to meet him? Like shake hand, hey, what's up, man? Nice game, or
Yeah, you know, on the field at second base, you
Yeah.
know, when he's standing at second base, you know, he just had a chance to kind of talk to him, just kind of like just the game conversation, very topical, you know, man, this energy is crazy. Yeah, this energy. I mean, here's Derek Jeter telling me the energy is crazy. How he's played in front of, you know, how many thousands of people in the World Series, Yankee Stadium.
Right.
But he said the energy was just electric, and it was an amazing experience.
Man, that's awesome. So how long did you play from the start of your career to the end of it?
So 9.5 seasons. So the
Wow.
first we were talking about was with Ogden, the Ogden Raptors. That's short season, advanced rookie ball with the Milwaukee Brewers. And then I played 2002 with the Beloit Snappers, which is, it's low A. And then I spent the last 4 weeks of that season in High Desert, which is high A. And then the following 2 years in Double A, and then the rest in Triple A, except for the short stint with the Brewers in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool, man. What's one memory that you'll always have with you in your experience?
Yeah. The draft day, obviously.
Yep.
But gosh, there's so many. You know, the day I got called up was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
and it was a good story too.
I think I heard the interview after that same day, on the night you got called up. I think a radio station you know called you and stuff, and I think I heard that interview that same week. Yeah, because I was following you from when we left and into your senior year. It was crazy, and I saw that I was like, dang.
I know, and I was the same way. I was completely shocked. You know, for me, everything aligned just perfect. And not to say perfect, there were injuries that occurred, not serious injuries, but guys, I was the guy that the only way I was going to get there is if I was playing great and people got hurt, which allowed me to get up there. So, so I had gone home for the All-Star break in the minor league. So I went back to Jacksonville, Florida, and my sister had just had her first child, so my nephew, my godson, our family's first, my parents' first grandson, and I just gotten home. Maybe 2 or 3 hours later, I'm sitting there holding my nephew for the first time.
Wow.
I get a phone call from my manager in AAA, who's a good friend of mine as well, and my brother said, "Hey, it's Frank. Frank's calling." I'm like, "Oh, all right." I just take it. I'm like, "Hey, Frank." He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Just sitting here with my family. Just got home, holding the baby. Things are good." He's like, good. That's great. Hey, get your stuff together. You just got called up. I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "You're going to the big leagues." I said, "Come on, man." He's like, "No, seriously." So obviously get a little teary-eyed and excited.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty big deal. And I thanked him. He said, "Don't thank me. I didn't do anything," and just hung up. So I went out there and share that, with my mom, my dad, my brother, my sisters.
Wow.
Immediately called, my wife, and that was it. Next day, I'm off to Milwaukee.
Did you have to drive, or you jumped on the plane?
Jumped on a plane.
First
class.
Right. Yeah.
First time I flew first class. That's right.
That's awesome. The perks, man.
That's right. Yeah. So got there, showed up on game day. They were playing interleague against the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, it's an experience. I think I don't think I did it justice with the story, but it was it was very emotional. It's very emotional. It's a very rewarding time.
Right.
Not just for me. It's rewarding for all the people that worked so hard to help me. Spent those hours. Feeding soft toss to me or hitting me ground ball. My dad, my friends, all the coaches. I mean, there's so many people. How many people played a part in your success as a baseball player? There's so many. So many, and it's a reward for them too to see one of their pupils, make it.
Yeah. I think I might have called Coach Burbridge when I
Yeah,
found out. Yeah, because I know he was keeping tabs too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What a great, one of the great coaches. One of the great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how was it when you got to the clubhouse? Like, were the guys were like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Or just business as usual.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. That's a good question. I don't know if anyone's ever asked me that. And I got there, walked in the office, met with Ned Yost, who was the
Hmm.
manager, Gord Ash, and there might have been some other people there, but signed the contract, and they asked me if I could go just grab something to eat because they hadn't made all the transactions complete.
Right.
So there were guys who were still in the field taking batting practice
Mm.
that would come in and be optioned down to AAA.
Right.
So anyhow, so as I came back in after they thought it was good for me to come in, I actually crossed paths with the guy who got placed on the whatever they do. They put him on the waiver wire or whatever.
Right.
And he came up to me. He's like, "Hey man, thanks for taking my spot." And I said, "You're kidding me." He's like, "No, I'm just kidding, man. Congratulations." He was a teammate of mine in AAA. So
Okay.
he's been called up for like 2 months, and they were making a switch because of an injury, but it was fine. As it turned out, we were teammates later on in the year, but
Yeah.
it was kind of funny. He didn't seem to mind. He had been up to the big leagues 2 or 3 times before that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Boy, that's great, man. Just to have that
Yeah.
experience, dude. So good for you.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
so what's in store for you now? What are you doing nowadays? And
Yeah.
what's
So
burning your passion?
that's right. Yeah. Well, me and you have had many discussions. Like probably a lot of the viewers here, they probably reach out to you for a lot of advice for their business endeavors. And I'm still obviously looking at a lot of stuff. As to fulfill the entrepreneur side of me.
Mm.
There were a few things I tried to get going after baseball that never took off the way I wanted them to.
Hmm.
But for right now, I have a great position with a great company. And to be quite honest, it's a company that challenges me on a daily basis.
Mm.
And I often tell people, and I tell obviously the people I work with, that it's funny if you apply yourself the same way you do in sports to your job, you can get the same rewards.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, I still get like I said earlier, I still get excited to go into these meetings. I still get excited to try and win something, to
Right.
try and accomplish something. Which I'm very fortunate because I know there's a lot of jobs out there that don't provide you with that.
Hmm.
There's a lot of jobs that don't require you to sit there and to really get out there and put your best foot forward. They kind of you get led into this mundane process. So
Hmm.
I'm very fortunate to have a job that has fulfilled, I guess, my competitive desire.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you never know. I look at the things you're doing. I'm just I'm so envious. I think what you're doing is great. You've really grown this business of yours into this amazing almost corporation. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. It's a hustle, just like working out, getting up early,
That's right.
staying late. Yep.
That's right.
But the rush is there, and it's fun. It's rewarding. You'll see the results. Reap the benefits. So yeah, it's good. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. I think for me and for you and for most athletes that get into the business world, finding something that allows you to be that allows your work ethic to pay off. When I work hard, I want to have rewards.
Right.
If I'm hitting the cage all the time, I want to do that so I can hit 300.
Right. Right.
It's just like now with what you're doing. Everything we do, we're trying to reap the rewards of the hard work. So kudos to you for working so hard,
Yeah.
man.
Hey, thanks, man, and kudos to you too for having a great job.
Thanks, man.
And a great career, too.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
So I appreciate the time, man. It's getting late here, and I want to, respect your time. And I think we got the questions that some of the people asked. So great story too. Yeah, I got goosebumps from getting drafted and getting called up. So it was awesome.
Nice, dude. Well, you know what? I appreciate it, and I really, again, looking back, I really cherish that time we had over there in Prague. What a great experience for us to go over there, man.
Yeah, I think I still have my mark somewhere. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Tell
90
them
mile an hour fastball. Bam.
That's right. For those of you who don't know, and I'll be brief. Rob was leading off for the USA team, and I was hitting second. And I'm on deck, and we're playing Germany. And Germany had a guy who was throwing at least 90, right? I mean, he was throwing hard.
He was a big, tall dude too.
Big, tall guy, and Rob was always in. You know, he was the guy that was always, you know, he wasn't going to back out. He always get his nose in there and play hard. And I just remember, I don't, were you squaring around a bunt or?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yep, I got the bunt signal from Coach Burbridge.
Yeah, gosh, and this guy just throws a fastball high and tight. And of course, instead of getting out of the way like I would have done, I was making sure that it wasn't a curveball. He didn't want to get fooled, but afterwards, he ends up taking it right in the face.
Yeah.
But instead of laying on the ground, Rob gets up and sprints to first base. The trainer's chasing you down the baselines.
Yeah. Yep. Had a nice big scar. I think the pictures are on Facebook there somewhere.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yes. Yeah. Well, you must be Samoan or something. You're pretty tough.
Right. Right. What a great experience, man. What a great experience.
Yeah.
So and I'm glad that we can continue, you know, to experience each other and build a relationship and grow our families together and all that stuff. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it was good, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing your life and your story with the viewers. There's going to be a lot of people, you know, grateful to the story and all that stuff. So I appreciate it, and I'm sure speak on behalf of them too.
Well, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Now, is there anywhere they can ask questions? Are you on Twitter or on Facebook, right?
On Facebook, yeah. You know, if they'd like to, they can always get me on if they go to the fan page for the Tim Barnwell Memorial Scholarship.
Oh yeah. Talk briefly about that. Yeah.
Yeah, for the Tim Barnwell Memorial Scholarship, you know, this is something that me and you have definitely connected on. It's a memorial scholarship that is set up at Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida, and what it does is it helps pay for the tuition of one baseball player every year at Flagler College. My dad, like I said, was a huge baseball fan, but was really intertwined with the Flagler College baseball program. Really good friend with the coach. Did a lot of things there as a construction worker. He did a lot of stuff there to help the facilities keep it up. But yeah, so you know, my father passed away in 2008 now. And we set this up in 2009 just to kind of keep the memory going and do what he would want, which is to help a kid get into college. So it's a good thing. So go check it out, Tim Barnwell Memorial Scholarship. Any questions, anything, any comments? Love to hear them. Would love to connect with any of the people that are out there.
Cool. Alrighty. Okay. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for letting me get that in.
Yeah. No problem. That's good. That's important. We'll make sure to post that too. You know, as a link. On the page. So awesome.
Nice.
Well, thanks again, dude, for the time and the story. Appreciate it. And,
you got it.
Yeah, we'll see you again.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks, Rob.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.